Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Mountain Man Monday. This is live stream episode number 38. Today is August the 3rd, 2020. I hope everyone has had a great start to your week, and we'll have a great conversation and hang out here in the Mr. Mountain Man community tonight. You can watch this live stream live. Hopefully you're joining, and if not, you can always find the archive live streams on the Mr. Mountain Man YouTube channel under the live stream playlist. So again, we'll wait for folks to roll in here and say hello and get this week rolling. It is the first week of August. And before you know it, I can't believe how quickly this year has gone. It is unbelievable that it is August the 3rd already. I mean, it just seems like yesterday that we were having New Year's, and now, goodness gracious, it's going to be a few weeks out. Well, traditionally a few weeks out. Sam's Club and Walmart would start rolling out Christmas decorations at the end of August. And so, I can't believe. I mean, in some respects, the year has dragged on because of all the current events and the pandemic and things that have happened. But in other respects, it has just gone like lightning. It is week after week after week. It's unbelievable how quickly the weeks are rolling by. So, we're here in August. I mean, if you think about it, you know, everybody always asks about when the leaves change in the mountains and all that stuff. I mean, we'll be heavy into that conversation. It won't be really happening in about 6 weeks, beginning to talk a lot about it. And then a few weeks after that, it'll get into the thick of the fall season. It's crazy. So anyway, let's see who we have here tonight on the live stream. We have first on deck, Susan Thompson. Good evening to you. I hope you're having a great start to your week. Tim Wheaton, always nice to have you. Longtime member and supporter of the channel and really appreciate it. Marvin Carlton, good evening to you as well. Normally first out the gate, but there was a tie across the start line tonight with Susan, Tim, and Marvin. We've got AZ Rock, who's a great supporter of both my channels. Want to say hello to you. Hope you're having a great start to your week. We have a birthday girl in the house. Is that you, Susan? Is it your birthday today? Because I can humble myself and try to sing happy birthday to you. I am also an August birthday. So let us know if it. I assume today is your birthday, and I want to wish you a happy birthday. Tim Wheaton says, loved your last video. Now I want to go to Switzerland. Hey, well, one, thank you for the compliment. And two, I agree. I would love to go to Switzerland. Swiss Alps, that whole country looks amazing. It's neat to have that little gem here in our mountains of North Carolina. I really enjoyed going there. I had fun making the video. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the housekeeping of the week. And so we've got Foxy Wolf. We got here. I'll put the arm up. We got the arm going. Good evening, Mr. Mountain Man. How's it going? It's going well for a Monday. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. And yes, happy birthday. We've got Rita. Hello, Mr. Mountain Man. I love your last video. Again, thank you for the compliments. It is so kind of you all. I'm glad you enjoy it because when I put these videos together, that's exactly what I'm doing it for. I say, I hope the people who watch this enjoy it. They find it entertaining and fun. And so that is fantastic feedback, and I really appreciate that. We have Chris. Hey, Chris about T-shirts. How you doing tonight? I hope you're having a good evening as well. Say hello to your significant other, Mindy, if she's there in earshot, and tell her said hello. Hope you're having a great start to your week as well. Let's see. Mr. Mountain, August 29th. Thank you. No, I don't have to sing. Okay, so your birthday is, if it's August 29th, that's great. We'll have if anybody ever has a birthday, brag about it. I want to know. So tell us it's your birthday. And let us know. We'll shout from the mountaintops, happy birthday. I think birthdays are great. It's funny because when I was growing up, we always celebrated birthdays at our house, like with my siblings and stuff. We always had, we go out to eat or do something fun. And it was always a big deal and always enjoyed birthdays. It wasn't until I got older and started working, with people and stuff, and it'd be somebody's birthday, and I just kind of want to reciprocate that, especially if they were a friend of mine, and say, "Hey, happy birthday!" And you meet some people like, "Oh, I can't stand birthdays. Don't even talk about it." Blah blah. It's just another day. So I don't know if anybody's in that group, let me know. But I particularly like to celebrate birthdays. I get it. Some people probably don't like the years ticking by, but I don't believe it's a cliche. Age is just a number. It's how you feel, how you live, and what you do. I mean, there are wonderful parts of all stages in life, and so yeah. Anyway, hopefully, whoever's having a birthday, you can always shout it from mountaintops, and I'll say it. Everybody, smash the like button. I appreciate that. If Chris is here, he always says, don't always only hit the thumbs up if you enjoy it. On my channel, I just say hit the thumbs up button. There's no thumbs down. No, I'm just joking. So hit whatever button you like. And I really appreciate it again when people are polite and kind and do stuff like that. It's really awesome. Again, Tim, I was thinking about the live streams. And if you heard me mention at the top of this is episode 38. So when you see me each week, this is a tally of all the, because I do this on Mondays. And so this is the 38th episode. Been doing it, these particular live streams for about a year. And I was thinking about it recently about the different folks who have attended these in those 38 episodes. Some have come and gone and some are still here. And, there's a lot of people here tonight that attended the very first live stream that I did from my balcony when we were traveling in Myrtle Beach. And so it's really cool to have a lot of you that have been here that long and aren't bored of me. So I appreciate it. And I hope we have a good time tonight. Let's see, where was I? I think I'm losing my spot here because I started scrolling around. I know we were talking about, okay, there we go. We got Tim, we got we're doing well. Okay, good, Chris. It's so good. And enjoyed your videos from Vegas. You just released another one the other evening. And great job. I'm glad you guys had a nice, fun, and safe trip and got to see a lot out west. That looked really fun. That was really cool. I've been to Vegas a few times myself, stayed at Bally's before and a few times. And but I was obviously in Vegas under different circumstance when the pandemic wasn't going on. So that must have been an interesting. Everywhere now is a little bit like a VIP experience because the crowds are a lot less in general at most major attractions and places, and rightfully so. So it's an interesting ability to be able to see some of these things, safely, but with less crowds. Like a lot of the Disney vlogs and such that I follow, and people getting back to the parks. It's unusual to see that low amount of people. It looks like the parks haven't been like that since the 70s. Thank you for the report, Rita. The video is clear tonight. Hopefully it stay good. I appreciate that. I go through the whole house and I'm like, turn this off, turn that off. No Wi-Fi here, no Wi-Fi there. On occasion, what happens is I hook this particular machine up directly through Ethernet to get the best reception that I can get, so I don't use any Wi-Fi. And we're in the mountains, so we're getting that awesome stinky mountain internet, but I'm trying to squeeze every drop of it for you all. So hopefully it sounds and looks good. Let's see. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. We have Big Daddy. Hello to you. Hope you're having a great start to your week. Nancy J is here tonight. Hey, Mr. Mountain Man. Love your avatar, Nancy J. That is a beautiful picture. It looks like the Foothills Mountains and a lake right there. That is really awesome. Let's see. A lot of hellos. We got Hike with Mike. Great to have you here. Another regular recently, and excellent to have you here tonight. Really appreciate you being here. Yeah, Susan says, I'm getting old. Just another day I had for myself. Yeah. Well, we always want to celebrate birthdays. Let's see. AZ Rock says, I heard the hurricane is growing in strength again. I hope you all are safe. Yeah. So, I used to live in Central Florida and on the coast and dealt with hurricanes and tropical storms for years and years. I'll tell you what, I don't miss it one iota. The And I'll talk about that in some of the news and notes because I got a story in there about the weather. But my experience in Florida, one of the things I didn't like about hurricanes was, you know, you get all the information behind the path and the strength and what's going to happen, and they don't know exactly because it makes subtle changes. But you have to take it seriously, and it's a lot of work. First of all, you're in the thick of summer. It's 100% humidity. It's muggy. It's hot. You got to put all these metal shutters up on your house. There's lines everywhere, lines on the street to go to get gas, to fill up your gas containers. If you procrastinated, you're not going to be able to buy a generator. You're not going to be able to buy a gas can. You're not going to be able to buy a lot of staples. You need to buy all that stuff in the off season. Staple food, I should say, not staples. And so there's just it's a hurry up and wait because they know, like I would live there, there'd be a Cat 5 hurricane down in the Caribbean projected possibly to hit us 6 days out. So I remember times getting ready for the hurricane, and then it's still 3.5 days out. It's the hurry up and wait. Beautiful sunshine, no wind, Cat 5 hurricane down in the Caribbean. And we're sitting here going, what's going to happen? And a lot of the time, those hurricanes don't hit you directly. And so one of the things people don't realize, if you guys ever turn on the news and you see that big spinning weather mass, okay, I don't know if it was only me. I don't think so. But I used to think when they don't always explain, or maybe you missed the part. They say 130 mile an hour winds, right? You hear that? And you see that big thing, and you're like, oh my gosh, that whole thing is 130 miles. The only part that has the really atrocious, terrible weather is like a 15 to 20 mile, radius outside the eye. That's where it's like as bad as a tornado. So if the outside of the eye in that inner part goes over the city, it's like a huge 10-mile wide tornado. It can be really bad. But everything else in that, a lot of times the bands will dump a lot of rain, but we would have time where it would be right over us where we lived in Florida, and you'd look outside and the trees weren't even blowing. So that whole system is not 130 miles an hour winds. It's just the middle. And if that eye stays off the coast, odds are that's very good for people. It doesn't impact folks. So anyway, that's a lot about hurricane experience and knowledge. Again, I lived in Florida a bunch of years. So you do all this stuff, and I put up the shutters, and they're heavy and they're sharp, and you cut your hand and you put them in, and the house is super dark. And then a few times we would lose power after the hurricane come through, because even with the wind, I mean, they would get pretty spectacular. The house we had was built with hurricane strapped roof, and it was a newer house. And so it was pretty good. I mean, we wouldn't have stuck around for a real Cat 4 or 5, but it was fine for the smaller stuff. But when the power go out, it was disgustingly hot. Like you turn on the generator, but it wasn't hooked up to air conditioning. It's just muggy and hot and gross. Or if it passes by, you have to undo all that stuff. You have to take all the shutters down. You have to put the generator, all the cords away. You got to put the house back into order. You got to, it's just crazy. There's a definite premium for living in Florida and hurricane areas. You got to love it. You got to love it. Or you got to live in like a condo where somebody else does it and you just pack up and leave. But if you're a homeowner in Florida and you're a homeowner on the coast, it's a big pain in the you-know-where. Kentucky Girl says, hello to Mr. Mountain Man and all the gang. Hello to you as well, Kentucky Girl. Always nice to have you here. Another regular throughout the community. I better catch up so I can get to all my my traditional stuff here. Marvin says, I've never been to Vegas. I want to go. Well, you know what? When this all subsides, one of the things about Vegas is it's routinely very cheap to fly out there and to get there. And even some of the lodging is cheap because they want you to gamble and they want you to spend money on other things. So they try not to price folks out of getting out there. You can, get great deals to get physically out to Vegas. Now, how you spend your money once you get out there, that's up to you. Hey, Mom, Mr. Mountain Man Mom, Triple M Mom is in the house. Into the fourth. I want to say hello to you, to Dad. I hope you guys are doing well and are having a nice evening. I have to call and catch up. Stinky Mountain Net. Swamp Net is really sketchy too. Okay. Yeah, I might have missed the reference on that one, and I apologize. Make sure to hit the triple thumbs up if not already subscribed, and hit that notification bell. Yes, that was super nice, Foxy Wolf. Every time you guys say that, I'm super humbled by that. By the way, if we do happen to ever have anybody who's new in the background listening or new to the channel, I want to welcome you to the Mr. Mountain Man community. We do these live streams. I always say we, because when I say we, you hear me say we in the videos. And when I say we, it's kind of like, it is me, but if it's we in the videos, it might be myself and the family. But I don't know, it's just we, when I speak in this context, is like all of us. So we welcome you to the Mr. Mountain Man community. And I hope you enjoy it. If you are watching on delay, feel free to check out some of the videos on this channel. I went through a little deal last week talking about that I know and I'm a techie person, but when I was newer to YouTube and I would subscribe to somebody, I wouldn't go mine their old videos. I would just wait for new videos to come out, not realizing I was missing a plethora of really awesome content from somebody I now enjoyed and wanted to go see all the stuff they had already laid down. And so a lot of times when I find somebody that I really enjoy on YouTube, I'll hit that videos tab on YouTube and start going through their archive of material, so to say, and looking at all of their content. So anyway, welcome everyone who might be new to the channel is coming back here, and all the regulars as well. I want to say a good evening to you. Sarah Rathbone always gets the coolest with the big dog there. Good evening to you as well. Haven't seen you in a little while. Hope you're doing well and having a great start to your week and a great start to August. Good evening to the other 17 in chat. I hope you're all doing well. We've got 17. Yeah. Always nice to have a little bit of a crowd. I think, and one of the other things that can help is, if you all enjoy it and you think others would enjoy it, this channel, share the videos, because there's a share button. So if you have social media or whatever, and you think somebody might find it interesting, or even if they don't find the videos interesting, but might find the conversation and topics interesting on the Mountain Man Live Monday live streams, feel free to invite folks. And so yes, hello to everyone. I also have Lady Bass Player tonight. Hello to you, and I hope you're having a great start to your week. Thanks, Mr. Mountain Man. My picture is from Vogel State Park in North Georgia. Beautiful area. North Georgia, when I think of Georgia, I think of the dry, they're not dry, the humid and heat and deep South. I used to spend a lot of time in South Carolina. My grandparents lived there. Georgia, between there and Florida, just a lot of heat and stuff. But when you go up to North Georgia, it's mountainous. The Blue Ridge Mountains dip into Georgia. You've got a lot of beautiful area up there in North Georgia that I didn't really realize until so I watched this program like Log Cabin Living on TV. It's kind of like House Hunters, but they do it with like log cabins in the mountains. And there are several episodes from North Georgia, so that was kind of cool. I was kind of hoping for some of the rains from the bands, but did not even get clouds. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Trying to reason with the hurricane season is a yearly thing down here. I know, and it's just the one thing is, if in Florida, if you're on the interior, you don't have to pull the trigger on all that work as quickly. And hope everybody is staying safe. I know as far as Florida went, and people I have in contact, you really didn't do anything except for make some waves. I guess pun intended there, or not intended, because it didn't do anything. Let's see. Yeah, we're getting lots of rain in southern Illinois, says Marvin. My farm is growing dirt, Kentucky girl. I hope you guys get some rain. We've gotten plenty of it here recently in the mountains. Closer to the Gulf of Mexico, not the Atlantic, so a couple showers in my area. Corgi lover, hello, Big Daddy. I drove through the outer bands of a tropical storm on our way to Key West. It was scary. Yeah, that bridge that you go on down to Key West, if there was a nasty storm, that's the stuff of nightmares right there. So I hear you, Corgi lover. That would be crazy. I need to figure out a picture. Everyone has such nice pictures and avatars. It only took me 6 months to get my name changed. What was your name changed before? Was it like the default, like J17853 or something, like whatever, I was about to say eBay, YouTube issues to you? Because if you're somebody that we've been talking to for forever and I didn't realize that it was the name switch, please let me know so I'm not embarrassed, that I should know who you are. No, not too nosy. Mr. Mom, my mom is in Central Ohio. Yeah, where I grew up. So we got a lot of Midwesterners here. A lot of people from, the mountains in the Midwest and stuff. Although I really, would hope that I get that home base for this channel is, Western North Carolina, the mountains. But I would hope that folks of a wider arena would enjoy this too. I know sometimes we have folks from Canada, and we've had Ireland, and we've had California. It'd be nice to, if people were interested in some of the things that we do and talk about here from wherever. Really cool. If somebody's from a wild place and wants to chime in, let us know where you're from. You don't have to. I'm just saying if you want to. Let's see. I always like to go check every channel's first video on their channels. Hey, Hike with Mike, so do I. If I really like them, I like to see like larger channels, like what was their first video? How did they start? And that's a lot of fun. So that's a fun task for everybody to do for your favorite YouTubers. Now, it can be really challenging. Hike with Mike, if you know a way, if there's a sort that you can sort by date, that might be easier, because channels that have hundreds of uploads, that can be a real challenge. You're sitting there like scrolling forever, using your mouse wheel and scrolling. So let's see. Let me get caught up so I can start the news and notes of the week here. Let's go through a rapid fire. Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Dale Bush. AZ Rock is Dale Bush. And thank you, Dale, for letting us know, because that is the same avatar. And I would have been in a couple of weeks here, I'd have been like, where's Dale? I haven't seen him in a while. I saw that on Instagram you had liked some of the pictures, but that's really cool. Thank you for letting us know. AZ Rock is Dale, but because I knew you had mentioned you were from Arizona, so that's really cool. Mr. Mountain, your last video of the chalets has piqued my interest. I'm pondering log cabin versus chalet, which is better. Yeah, it's funny because it was only by name in Gatlinburg. Once we stayed up in Chalet Village, although they really were just big cabins anyway. It was just the name of the area. But you're right. When I go to pick a vacation cabin or a place that's not a hotel, it's really what the mood is and who's going. Like, who's going to be enjoying? Is it kids? Is it just adults? Is it just, one person or a few people or a couple? And then you got to go through all the different things, because sometimes the type of structure or the type of place may not dictate as much as some of the other amenities. Like if we're talking about mountains, or if you want to talk about the beach or whatever, but mountains, it was always like, do you want mountain views or you don't care? And you can feel like you're in the middle of a secluded forest, and it's cheaper to usually get non-mountain views. But there were many times I wanted wide open views of, wherever. Do you need a pool? Do you not? Or maybe not a pool, a hot tub. Or, one of the things I always wanted was a grill, because you guys, those of you that know me, I like to grill. So when I'd go on vacation, especially if we were going for a week to a cabin, I didn't want to eat out every night, but I wanted to grill. And so, a lot of times it's dictated by some of the amenities and kind of working backwards from there. But I'll tell you what, those A-frame places up there in Little Switzerland, I'd already looked at how much they cost. They're really reasonable. They're anywhere from like, I want to say like $190 to like $290 a night, depending on the time of the year and all this kind of stuff. So not out of the ballpark. But I would like to do it, but might wait till next year, just because of everything going on with the pandemic. I know some knew my new name, some are realizing it. I started to keep track who knew and gave up. Sorry, that's all right. We've definitely got a lot of rain recently in the mountains, helping our garden. That's good. Kentucky Rural, it is a neat little town. When I go to North Carolina, my vacation home base is always Brevard. Yeah, that's not far from where I am. That's down the road. Actually, Hike with Mike, I started out my last motorcycle ride. I think we talked about Pisgah National Forest in Brevard, so that was really cool. I contacted members, Mama Bear's Instapot Cooking, and posed a question of chalet versus cabin. She had a chalet in Gatlinburg and now has a cabin. That's very cool. Mama Bear used to show up on here from time to time. I haven't seen her in a while, so that's good that you're in contact. I'm still subscribed to her channel, and I think she had some video recently. Oh, cool. Dale or AZ Rock, Arizona Rock, AZ Rock says, I know, I like it when you show us what you grow on Sundays. It always looks good. That is a great segue into getting going with housekeeping for the week of August the 3rd, 2020. So let me go over here and get the Instagram account. Yay, Instagram. All right, let's check this out. So let's go through the pictures of the week and a little housekeeping here on the channel. First up, new picture of the week, we have the Little Switzerland video. If you haven't seen it or haven't heard, I did publish a new video. Little Switzerland is right off the Blue Ridge Parkway, just southeast of Mount Mitchell in Western North Carolina. Very small population of around 50 people. It does have the facade and look and feel of a small Swiss town in the Alps. At least that's the theme they're going for. There's an inn and a general store. There's shopping and dining. It looks to be, if you're not from the mountains and we're coming from out of state, this looks to be an ideal and tremendous place to stay for 2 to 4 nights, probably, as using Mike's phrase, home base, to then explore further. Because when you're in Little Switzerland, you're only an hour from Asheville, probably 2.5 or so hours from Gatlinburg. You're only, an hour and a half from Brevard and Pisgah National Forest. You're closer to Boone and Blowing Rock, and a whole slew of areas. So between what's there in Little Switzerland and what's available in the vicinity, it would be a sweet place to come back every night. I made a video there. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. Let me know how you what your thoughts are on it in the comments on YouTube if you so choose to. And I look forward to doing more videos like this. So thank you for everyone that did give feedback and said they enjoyed it. That was a fun day, and I had wanted to go there for some time, so I was really excited about it. Because if you heard me in the video, Switzerland is a place I would love to visit someday in Europe. And I'm torn between winter and summer because I know both would be awesome equally. All right, as Dale mentioned, I always give a picture. Some people are like, why do people post what they're doing on the grill or food or whatever? But you don't have to watch me eat, but you do get to see what I'm cooking up. Now, this week, I just was a little out of order, so we did Saturday and threw some pork chops on there, and they were pretty good, and we ate outside because it was a beautiful evening. That was the grilling of the week. The next night on Sunday, it was kind of yucky weather, and we were kind of around the house all day and ended up just farting around, and then we went out and ate at now the family, I got to go to all these different places because nobody can decide. So I think we went to like Wendy's and Bojangles and Panera, and everybody got a little bit something different. This is cool. I don't want to play it because I don't want to degrade the quality, but once in a while I do post a video, and the video is of, like, I believe it's the locusts or the crickets or whatever that make the noise at night. It's just if you turn up the volume on it, it's like a 10-second video. It's so loud, the noise of the summer evening. It's really, really cool. Check that out. It's funny because I don't really gauge all these pictures and stuff by likes, but it kind of tells me if people are looking at it. And it seems like for some reason, whenever I post a video, I don't get any likes. Now, that doesn't offend me or anything. I'm just wondering, like, do people... I'm newer to Instagram. Do people not watch the videos? They're not like YouTube videos. They're like 10-second videos. So maybe that's like not a thing to do on Instagram. I thought people did videos, but anyway, I did a video. And then that was recently posted. Look at that deer just looking right at me. Isn't that cool? That deer was just hello, a little bit out of focus there, but that was really cool. So anyway, there are the housekeeping Instagram pictures of the week, as well as the new video. Please check it out on the Mr. Mountain Man channel. I really would appreciate it. Also, a plug for my other channel, The Eclectic Handyman. Yes, I have new videos. So between the two channels, I'm always putting something out. Let's see, make sure it's showing up over there. Yep. All right, so we've got, I'll just go through quickly. You know, I enjoy Craftsman Tools. Craftsman, if most of you probably think, oh, Craftsman, made in the USA. They quit making them in the United States about 10 years ago. Stanley Black & Decker now owns them. You'll probably see a lot of those tools at Lowe's. One of the things I like to do is trim out my set with new, older stock, basically older, new Craftsman tools that I find on eBay or going to Sears stores and stuff like that. So I got a couple videos there and a couple fixer-up videos. No need to subscribe if you don't like that, but I listen, I put effort into this channel nowadays too. So I just wanted to mention it. So that is my other channel, The Eclectic Handyman. That is pretty much housekeeping for the week. I just saw a comment and I had a huge brain fart, and Hike with Mike just picked up on it. You mean cicadas? Yes, that's what I meant. I said locusts or crickets. Goodness gracious. You're 100% right, Mike. The cicadas. Yes, that's what was making the noise. Let's see. We got a couple other comments. Let me scroll back up. Let's see. Grew up eating Pisgah Mountain sausage and never forgot the taste. That's awesome. Where'd you get that? You have to let us know. The wife and I love Mountain View cabins. Loggy Doggy. By the way, Loggy Doggy, welcome to the live stream and hope you're having a great start to your week. I'm all about the mountain views. I like the wide mountain views, especially in the summertime. Green, beautiful tree bloom mountains, just awesome. Like the beginning of my videos, those views that I have, just love it. You can follow Foxy Wolf on Instagram and Twitter at Mr. Mountain. No, I'm just joking. Foxy Wolf says you can I knew what I was saying. You can follow me on Instagram at Mr. Mountain_man. Both of the handles are identical. Oh, by the way, I did start an Instagram account for the Eclectic Handyman as well. It's the.eclectic.handyman. It kind of, the two E's ran together. It didn't look good, so I put periods in between it. But anyway, I guess that's back in the news and notes. Is Little Switzerland near Chimney Rock? It is probably, so relatively speaking, yes, it is. But it's actually off the Blue Ridge Parkway. So I don't know exactly in my head the direct route, because you know how it is in the mountains. A lot of things you got to go over and up. It's within 2 hours, probably even less, Mike. Hey, Ted and Deborah Harrison are here. Good evening, Mr. Mountain and everyone. We really enjoyed the vlog on Little Switzerland, and I appreciate that, Ted and Deborah. We were just talking about it. I had a great time. Thank you so much for the feedback. That was, again, a lot of fun. Thank you for being here tonight. I hope you're having a great start to your week. Easy Rock, I listened to that, Mr. Mountain. It was loud for sure. I'm just learning Instagram and did play it. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know. I just didn't know if people didn't watch videos, you know. Let's see. Oh, okay. Chris has some info. I think Instagram treats videos and pictures differently. Videos are more difficult to like. Very good feedback. Thank you for letting me know that, Chris. It's not that I will stop making the videos. I just wondered if people are like, you know, no video. But yeah, that's good to know. In my app, I'm on Android. They put a heart under each media element, like picture or video. But in order to watch the video, by default, I don't think it has sound, so you actually have to touch it. And then if the speaker's muted, you have to press the little button, so it is a little bit more work. Foxy Wolf put in there the Eclectic Handyman. One note on that. There is a shorter URL to it. I'm going to drop it in here. It is, bingo. It is youtube.com/the Eclectic Handyman, which is right here. And thank you, Foxy Wolf, for posting that. Gee, I hope we don't get locust. Yeah, I'm sorry. I probably was talking about like an old, you know, like in Kansas with the locust coming. It was cicadas. I was wrong. And so thanks, Mike, for clearing me up on my insect snafu there. Mr. Mountain Mom said, I walked her through a dead garage door opener digital for a $525 repair, ended up being $31. So my mom, I don't understand this. Like, I still don't understand it. The keypad for the garage door opener, the one you put on the outside with the code, died. She called up to get an estimate, and they said it was over $500, which is ludicrous because they're all wireless now. It's basically just a garage door opener for your car, but it has a keypad. So they're like $30 on Amazon for name brand. not even generic. And their stupid, simple program, they take just a minute. You press a button on the garage door open, etc. So I was just trying to help her through that. I'm glad you got it fixed for $30 instead of $500. I don't know what they were. I'm wondering at that price if they were misunderstood and wanted to put a whole entire garage door opener for you, because that seems really off. So yes, good job. She did. Excellent job, Mom. Great job on that. That was really awesome. I'm glad I could help. I was about to get excited and buy you some tools too for having around the house. Let's get into news and notes for the week of August the 3rd, 2020. So let me get this shared here. And I've been getting much better at this, by the way, in that we can now, I will now do the interactive chat because I know that Chris, tongue-in-cheek, has poked some fun at me, and rightfully so, because I was notoriously bad for being like 20 to 30 minutes behind on comments. So I have honed in on the craft of live streaming and trying to balance all of this information at the same time and provide instant feedback as close as possible to the comments that you all make. So with that happening, let me get this fired up here, and I will try to be instant on, or as close as possible to the feedback. All right. Story number 1. Oh, by the way, last week I realized that I had this the story about YouTube and the challenges of YouTube. And Chris says, why would I do that? Yeah, no, Chris, you have every right to poke fun at me as much as you want to. I'll take it. A little bit of humor here and there is fantastic. And I did stink. Like, it was terrible. Like, I would sit there and talk about through this stuff when I would do my news and notes, and or even before that. And I'd be like 20, 30 minutes behind, and the conversations wouldn't connect. But everybody found it humorous. So it was all good. And last week, I had a really interesting article about YouTube. I really enjoyed last week's live stream, by the way, in talking about that. So if you didn't get to check it out, it is in the archive. But some of the challenges and people that give up on their channel. And I went back and looked at it, and I realized that I'm going to put Chris's comment back up, that I left somebody's comment over the title of the video the whole time I was talking about the article. So that was an error on my part. Nobody could know what that was about. Yes. All right. So since a few people asked about it, just a quick first news article: weather alert, heavy rains, gusty winds, and flooding likely to start the week. It has been a dreary day here this Monday. If there was a quintessential type of weather to go with a Monday of the stereotype, it would be what today was like in the mountains. It was so dark during the day and overcast and rainy. It was just really gross weather. So, and yes, Sarah Rathbone, I do put in there News 13. That is right. If you'll notice on the screen, I always cite the article. It's in fine print, but WLOS is News 13 in Asheville. Very good spot right there. From the article, the combination of a stalled front and moisture from Isaias, that's the tropical storm, will allow for heavy rain at times here in western North Carolina. 2 to 4 inches of rain could fall in the watch area by Tuesday morning, leading to some flash flooding. And then meanwhile, on Tuesday, another front moves in from the west early Tuesday, pushing the major moisture east of our region. However, the arrival of that second front could bring some heavy rain to the areas outside the flash flood watch, leading to some localized flooding in western North Carolina. You know, it's weird when you live in the mountains, because depending on where you live, it's either zero problem or a big problem. Because when you have mountains, let me see where the camera is, you know, you always have a valley, and wherever those valleys happen, you know, and especially if you have a river, like we have the French Broad River here in the Asheville area, when that thing starts to go up, the low-lying areas will begin to flood pretty badly when you get, 3, 4, 5 inches of rain in a week. So it always stinks to have these stalled out fronts, and what we got today, I don't believe were bands from that storm. I can't tell 100%. But yeah, it definitely dumped on us today, but it's keeping things green. So Marvin says rainy days, Monday days. Ted and Deborah said Chris is an instigator. He sure is. Foxy says my video is fuzzy. Oh, goodness. I hope not. I wish I had the easy button. Let me know. I think I've shut down everything that's related to anything that could eat up bandwidth. So hopefully it's okay for you guys. I love rainy days. I do too. I like the mix. I like sunny, but then it's nice once in a while. And in the winter, I like some snow too. Chris is too sweet for that. He's not gonna push anybody's buttons. He's a good guy. Hey, Brian Fisher, welcome to the live stream tonight. Yeah, it must be dirt in my lines. I think that's in reference to the rain, right, Foxy Wolf? Yeah, so anyway, oh, good. Thank you, Sarah Rathbone. Glad. Okay, awesome. Thank you for the feedback. So yeah, we're getting dumped on. So if you're coming to the mountains or you're in the mountains, and I always show you the 10-day weather at the end. Yeah, it's kind of yucky right now, but it'll push through and there'll be sunny days ahead, right? All right, next up, what do we got here? We have, yeah, check this out. So in the same, resemblance here, crews try to free a truck from the Biltmore Sinkhole. Now, when you hear the word Biltmore in the Asheville area, that doesn't mean the Biltmore estate. Biltmore is often used. There's the Biltmore Park and there's the Biltmore area. So that's just talking about that. But crews are still trying to free a truck that has been stuck in a sinkhole off Biltmore Avenue since Friday night. The truck is in a sinkhole in the parking lot of Biltmore Fitness. No injuries have been reported, but there's been no word on how long it'll take to fix the problem. Maybe it'll become a piece of art. Asheville's known for its art and culture. Maybe they'll just leave it there and turn it into a food area or a food truck or something like that. I tell you what, sinkholes are a mess. Like those in Florida were like the things of nightmares. Like you turn on the news and all of a sudden some house would just evaporate into the earth. Like just this soft pocket under the earth. And they'd be much worse than what that truck was sitting in, like literally an entire house. So that's why when they built new houses in the last 10 or 15 years in Florida, they would always do a soil compaction rating to see and test and make sure that area under was solid. Because basically Florida is one big swamp. Oh no, sinkholes in Florida. Yikes. Yes, exactly like that. And first time I've seen the photo, I just heard about it, just not seen. Yes. Why does Florida have such a problem with sinkholes? Because literally Florida, well, it's just water all around and water under it and retention ponds everywhere. It's a big swamp. The land is not very dense or deep, and so you just have those sinkholes, and yeah, they can be scary. I remember watching those some night, and I'm like, oh goodness. And we've had a couple here in Asheville. They had one in a parking lot in front of a doctor's office about 6-8 months ago. It just evaporated the whole front of the parking lot, and they had to fill it with like gravel and rock and stuff like that. I don't know. Yeah, the high water table, Foxy Wolf is right. That's why you can't have basements like anywhere in the Southeast, and especially not in Florida. That would have to freak you out if you were in the truck when it started to sink. Yeah, get out of there, right? I mean, they can be dangerous, but it's kind of along the lines of like getting struck by lightning. Like, I don't want to be depressing here, but like the reality is that something like happening is like just as much of an anomaly as like winning a lottery. Yeah. All right, so what's up next? We've got, this is an article that says, this bear seemed a bit different. Gatlinburg man recounts close encounter with a large bear. All right, let me get a little water before I read this one. By the way, nothing new in this article. You've heard it before, so... but it's still good to go over. A man who came dangerously close to a large black bear recounts the experience he says he'll never forget. Anthony Fulton says he has many encounters with bears, but this one was different. He says he and his brother were working on a job site in Gatlinburg when they were suddenly 50 feet from a large black bear. He was surprised and I was surprised, and he started grunting at me and did a fox charge as he stopped, and I was like, oh, I've seen this happen before. I've had many encounters with bears, and this encounter was a little different because he was not afraid of me at all. It was a tough bear. The TWRA says this kind of behavior is normal if a bear feels threatened. When they feel threatened, they will do what's called a bluff charge. They will run at you and stop a few feet short of you. And what they're trying to tell you is back away, give me some space. It was the closest to a bear Anthony said he's ever been. After a short standoff, his brother was able to activate the alarm in their truck, which caused the bear to run away. An action TWRA officials say is a good way to scare a bear that is too close. Loud noises tend to frighten bears. So if you have a horn in your vehicle, will a lot of times frighten them. Clapping your hands, shouting at them, banging two sticks together, breaking wind, anything you can do to make a lot of noise normally intimidates the bear, and they will usually leave and go in another direction. If you come in contact with a bear, here are a few more things to know. This is the list that everybody knows all the time. What do you do if you see a bear? We all want to take pictures and pet them, right? But the reality is you're supposed to do this stuff. All black bears are usually tolerant of humans, and we are friendly to our black bear neighbors. They should always be treated as wild animals, whether in residential or backcountry areas. Black bears are rarely aggressive towards people and typically go out of their way to avoid contact. However, as human development continues and bear numbers increase, occasional interactions will be unavoidable. They are extremely powerful animals. Behaviors are unpredictable. Black bears are very curious animals. They should not be confused with aggression. Startled bears will confront intruders by turning sideways to appear larger, making woofing and teeth clacking sounds, salivate, lay their ears back, and slap the ground with their paws. These are warnings for you to leave the area. Now, I'm going to take a video. Bears will often stand on their hind legs to get a better view or a better sense of hearing and smell. So, yeah, this was, Rita's got it spot on. That bear looked like he was daring you to come closer. That is a big bear, by the way. Like, I guess you can't tell relative to the picture, but sometimes bears are small. That is a big picture. Let's see if I missed any other. I always carry bear spray with me when I hike. I was circled by a growling bear around my campsite at 3 a.m. I banged on the fire ring with a log and sang Led Zeppelin, the Immigrant Song, and it worked and it left. Nice. Yeah, so you're supposed to do is like bang pots, make noise. I guess the car alarm, the alert alarm. You remember car alarms, by the way? Do you remember when we used to have them installed, like beep, beep, like a car alarm? And if you get close to them, it'd be like, get away from the car. But yeah, anything to do to make the bear scared is supposed to work. Although my wife was showing me a video of somebody who like stood completely still. This was on Facebook. I think it might have been over in Tennessee. And the bear came up and started like touching at this lady and like kind of pawing at her. And she just stood completely still. And then the bear got disinterested and left. Yeah, you know, that's what they say. But the reality is, you think this stuff is well known. There are so many bears over in Gatlinburg. Like every time we've gone on vacation there, you can just, they're all over the place, especially in the summer. It's because people are feeding them and they're getting into trash cans is really one of the big reasons. And it's the Smoky Mountains, and there's a bunch of bears over there to begin with because that's their habitat. But there are a lot of people that don't hear our article here from the Mountain Man live stream, and they go on vacation and they think it's neat and they throw a hot dog at them and, you know, or something, or leftover dinner, take pictures and, you know, get them all riled up. That sounds like a good show. That would have been a good video, by the way. Bears don't like Led Zeppelin. That's good for working out in the weight room. Let's see. Yeah, I hope you got that with on video. Did you say breaking wind to scare a bear? Big Daddy, I did, and it was an Easter egg. I ad-libbed that one. Thank you for noticing. I wondered if anybody would. I don't know if farting near a bear is going to scare it away or not, but you can always try, in addition to banging on a bunch of pots and pans and seeing if you can scare the bear away. So, yeah, check it. We'll give it a try sometime and see if it works. Could make a video of that one. Let's see. Yep, I did say that, Chris. So we're gonna whoever the first one to make a video of that, make sure you send it my way. I was in survival mode at that point. Said Hike with Mike. I wish I could travel. Yeah, Brian, I think this year stinks in that regard. Yeah, it's been not nice. Rita said, I saw the video you were talking about. If I was that lady, I would have died. I know. I think she must have been scared out of her mind, and she was incredibly, I don't know, I use the word brave just in her mind, that she was able to tolerate that without like screaming or crying or passing out. I mean, so yeah, it was pretty crazy. I've never seen a bear when I've gone to Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge, even at the Three Bears store. Right. Well, you've seen the shopping ones, like when you're at the Three Bears. One of the cabins we stayed up was all the way up by Ober Gatlinburg behind it, and we saw tons of bears up there. I mean, it was, but again, I think it's because, all of the rentals have locking trash cans and all that, but people, again, it's so crowded, and you get people coming in from all parts, and it's like living in a zoo. It's really cool. And so you want to see them, and, they tell you in the cabins, don't feed the bears. It's not good for them. People don't care. It's the same people that throw their litter out that we talked about a few weeks ago. It's, whatever, it gets people interested in. So poor bears. And then the problem is they eat some of that stuff and they get really sick. So they'll come around naturally. When I camp out in bear country, I don't bring any food. I eat a big meal before I leave, so I have no scent of food on me. That's smart. That is smart. Oh, Brian Fisher says money. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear. It is a tough year. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, Brian. And I mean, a lot of people, and Kentucky Girl is saying that as well. It is, there's a lot. It's a crazy year. And hopefully, over time, one of the things that I know, Brian, you don't live out here, but for others, one of the things you'll notice on my channel that I do is a good mix. And I don't highlight this enough, is a lot of the stuff I do is free. Not everything, but some of the places that I go are sightseeing and free. Like you can go on the Blue Ridge Parkway. You can go hiking. Not Chimney Rock, unfortunately. It does have a small entry fee. There are oodles and oodles, hundreds of hikes off the Blue Ridge Parkway in the mountains. So if you happen to be in the area, but for people who aren't local, you can kind of get creative maybe in your own area about, walking or parks, city parks, county parks, finding a new pond or a new place to walk around, or, just small activities that don't hit the wallet to still enjoy and be creative in that way. And you just start another job. Well, good luck on that, Brian. Hope it goes well for you, and I hope things are going all right for you. Your profile picture, what it shows on the screen, looks like you're a professor in front of a class. Yeah, it looks like you're very official there, and with the tie on and everything. Yes, congratulations to you on your new job, and I hope it goes well. Really do. Whole support. Lots of bears in the green swamp of Ocala National Forest, but Florida bears are smaller than northern bears. Yes, they are. But our reptiles down here are bigger. Yeah, I do not like alligators. Like we always talk about, ever since we moved to North Carolina, we can go in freshwater sources like at the park and the kids can enjoy. You don't do that in Florida, because if you go in a freshwater creek or something, there's a poisonous snake or possibly an alligator. You don't do that. Yes, another congratulations again. I've seen crazy people charging at bears in Cades Cove to get a picture like people. These are wild animals and will kill you. Yes. That'd be a great t-shirt, by the way, Foxy Wolf, to put that on the front and back. People never cease to amaze me. Some of the things people do. You're spot on. Yes, another congrats from Chris about t-shirts. Hike with Mike, like the pythons invading. Yeah, Florida is nuts. It's too hot to get out in South Georgia, and the bugs will eat you alive. It depends on what part of the country. I remember we went up to Minnesota to visit some friends 3 years ago. And we were at the time, 3 or 4 years ago, and we were still living in Florida. And when we went up there, it was inconceivable when we started going in and swimming in freshwater sources, because we were like, if you saw this same picture in Florida, you wouldn't dare get in there because of the alligators. I mean, do you guys remember that sad story from Disney World about 4 or 5 years ago where that child at the Grand Floridian, I mean, we're talking prime Disney property, and they did have signs that say, don't swim in the lakes. And that poor child got killed by an alligator. That was terrible. And so, yeah, Florida's no joke. You go in the ocean and you hope you can navigate away from the jellyfish and the sharks. Florida's just great for postcards and Disney World. I don't know. Just too many things down there, like brown recluse and black widows and all kinds of craziness. But at least they got Mickey Mouse, and he's not a poisonous mouse. But yeah, I love the heat and the bugs to keep people away from the trails. I have whole woods to myself. Right. Spot on. Right, Mike. Absolutely. Yeah, it was a sad story. That was really sad. Yeah, so stay away from the bears, but enjoy them at a distance. If you all remember a couple weeks ago, I did get a picture when we went over for a quick jaunt to play putt-putt in Gatlinburg, and we went up to a cabin that we had stayed at a few years ago. It had burnt down. We wanted to see if it had been rebuilt yet. And on the way back down, it was up in Chalet Village, and on the way back down, we saw bears and took some great pictures. So yeah. All right, next up. Outdoor enthusiasts navigate the murky waters of pandemic recreation. All right, so this article here is from themountainx.com. For those looking to the Western North Carolina mountains for solace during the first months of COVID, efforts to hit the trails often ran into a dead end. Initial local, state, and federal responses to the pandemic restricted access to many of Western North Carolina's most treasured outdoor spaces, including Pisgah National Forest and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Most of those restrictions have since been relaxed. Governor Roy Cooper's Safer at Home Phase 2 order, which went into effect on May 22nd, has been extended through at least Friday, August 7th, but it does allow parks and trails to operate and permits outdoor gatherings of up to 25 people. Meanwhile, the COVID cases have continued to surge both in Western North Carolina and across the state. Calling with the Buncombe County Public Health Director saying the recent local increases are alarming. Despite this rise, many involved in the area's outdoor industry say enthusiasts, novices, and businesses alike are eagerly returning to the newly available trails, rivers, and campsites. Jennifer Davis, owner of Asheville-based Blue Ridge Hiking Company, says there's a simple reason behind the pent-up demand for outdoor recreation. In a world where many activities are either unsafe or unavailable, going for a hike is very appealing. There's a surge of people looking for relatively safe adventures and vacations, she explains. Outdoor recreation is a low-risk way to exercise, see new places, and benefit from the therapeutic benefits of time spent outdoors. Debbie Jones, president of the Carolina Mountain Club, has also seen a recent increase in outdoor users. But she notes that trail crowding, especially on the weekends, has actually lightened up since the start of Phase 2. If you guys remember, everybody is so crazy. I saw a meme that was hilarious. It was like parks, meaning like local parks where you go, the park before the pandemic, and they were empty. And then it says like parks during the pandemic, and they were like jam-packed. It's like, I think everybody got a little bit of cabin fever and just was bursting at the seams to get outdoors. And hence, some of the news from this article, when initially things opened back up, like when we went to Chimney Rock, the trails were just packed. I had never seen Chimney Rock that busy ever. I think people were just oozing to get outdoors. Winter was done and things were reopening up in April and people just wanted to get back out. So it makes sense. While areas such as the Pisgah and Nantahala, I always mess that up, National Forest saw widespread trailhead closures. Other public lands, including the Blue Ridge Parkway, never completely shut down. As a result, crowds concentrated on the few trails that were open at the time. She observed significant buildups of trash in parking lots. Yep, you guys remember that? Exactly. And along trails due to the closure of restrooms and trash cans at the trailheads. Many trail users also failed to practice proper social distance, she says, discouraging others from hikes. That's the one thing that irritates it just irritates the heck out of me is, how controversial and divided this country has made staying safe. And I'm not afraid to talk about that topic. I want everybody to stay safe. I want to see everybody healthy and everybody safe. And it's just a shame because there are a lot of people that think it's a politically driven agenda and fake. And it's crazy because you can't say that more people that died than the entire Vietnam War from like 1965 to 72, including POAs and everything. Over that time period, more people have died since January because of the pandemic than in all of Vietnam. That's real. So I guess, there's a lot of people that think they're Captain America and they're invincible to stuff. And it's tough. And due to that, you've got this toxic mix of people wanting to be safe and follow the rules and keep everybody healthy and keep our fellow neighbors safe and just help the economy and get out there and do things, but do it in a safe manner. And then you got others that are just, this is stupid and I don't believe it. And it's a bunch of hogwash, and more people get Alzheimer's. As somebody said on the internet the other day, more people get Alzheimer's, heart disease, and listed off a bunch of other things. Thinking to myself, I didn't know you could catch Alzheimer's and heart disease because somebody sneezed at Walmart. That's news to me. I guess I'm better informed now. So, it just stinks that we could be enjoying even more if people would, just follow some very simple things. And I'm also tired to hear personally, and again, I mean, this is my opinion. I'm just tired to hear people trying to justify, the other side of it. I mean, this isn't a liberties thing, I mean, when you get in a car, you got to wear a seatbelt. You can't drink and drive because it harms other people in public. Like if somebody said, well, that's my right to do that. No, it's not your right, because somebody who drinks and drive is illegal because they can hurt somebody else. And texting while driving is super duper dangerous. It irritates me every time I see somebody driving 60 miles an hour and they're texting. There are rules and restrictions we all abide by for the most part, and are rules that we accept. But now for some reason, this one is something that people take issue with. My paramount concern is everybody's well-being. Like, I told you guys last week, if anybody got on here and said that they were sick, I'd feel terrible. I mean, for that person. And I mean, it might happen, but it's like, why? It's not needed. We can, if people would be worldly, they can see that there are other countries in the world that are a little bit more open to protective measures and, masks and distancing of the sort in whole, and their rates of how many people are getting sick is much lower than us. So it's just tough because, again, if the message, in my opinion, I'm saying is, I want people to be happy. I want people to be healthy. I want people to be safe. I want businesses to succeed. I want the economy to flourish. And if we would do some of these measures, it could, help us instead of being a stick in the mud and trying to, be stubborn about it. And then, I'm telling you, there have been instances recently, a lot of them, where people have been stubborn about it, then caught it and died. And that's not told them. No, it's terrible. It's like if they would have just not had that stubborn attitude. So, it's tough. So that's what this article just kind of leads into. It was talking about that. And, it was just talking about the trails and such. So what I was starting with was there's this unfortunate mix of people who are, trying to be a good citizen in society and help and manage this crazy 2020 that we're living in. And then there's others that, nobody's going to tell me what to do. And, because apparently more people get Alzheimer's and heart disease. So this doesn't matter. I don't know. And that is, if you don't pick up on it, that's sarcasm, by the way. So anyway, I want to see everybody healthy and happy and safe. I think and finish up the article, I think there have been people outside now that would have never been on a trail. I think there are people camping now that I wouldn't have otherwise. We want to see people out. I think this is a positive thing as long as they follow the rules. So anyway, getting out, hiking, being out in the mountains is an excellent way to be able to, kind of balance the stresses, I think, that have been happening this year. And, one of the things, hiking alone, you have to be safe because there's other dangers inherent to hiking. But, municipal parks and other places that you can go, even if you don't live in the mountains. Not everybody watching this lives, here and is able to join in these activities. But getting outside and in a spread out manner is an excellent way to kind of balance the cabin fever of having to be inside and from some of this stuff. So let me see here a couple of the comments. We were talking about, there were a couple people talking about bugs, all about the Smokies. By the way, all about the Smokies. I want to say welcome to the channel. I had seen that you had just subscribed, so welcome to the channel and welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much, and it's great to have you here. And you commented to me, hiking is the best thing to do during a pandemic. Right on. Absolutely agree 100%. Cool avatar, by the way. I like your design there, all about the Smokies. That looks really, really awesome. Let's see. Yep, clear nail polish over the chigger, talking about chiggers. And somebody said Avon's skin's so soft, and it worked. My grandmother swore by that, Foxy Wolf, and we used to use that. Haywood, 348 up 72. Is that the pandemic count, or is that like the area code that I missed? I think that's the pandemic, right, Sarah? Sarah, if what I'm thinking you're talking about, I don't know if you are or not, but there's a few counties that have had an outbreak recently. So yeah, it's not been good, but maybe you were talking about something else and I completely missed that. Let's see. Oh yeah, this pimetherian, it goes on the clothes and on the skin. When I traveled to the Philippines, hike with Mike, they have some mosquitoes there that are supposedly can carry some really nasty stuff. Like I was getting vaccinations before I go in, so I was looking into some better mosquito repellents and doing more research than just the typical off. And that was one of the things I came across. So yeah, good. And yes, good to know. It is. And trying to remember the stuff I got. One of the things I got was a cream that you put on. And I forget, and it might have that in that. That might be the main ingredient. Loggy says, I want people want to forget about COVID, but COVID's not forgetting about us. Right. It doesn't, just because you turn a blind eye to it doesn't mean that it goes away. And listen, if I was to play devil's advocate here on the other side of the fence, look, I mean, you know, I work out, I'm not in good shape. I mean, I could be one of these, stubborn people like, oh, nothing going to happen to me. I'm not in that category, whatever. But no, like, even look at me, I'm lifting weights 5 times a week and doing all this stuff and trying to stay healthy. And I still take it uber seriously. So Ted and Deborah Harris said, your right's end where someone else's start. Yes. Have the schools decided what they're going to do there yet? Yeah, they're doing they're taking it in chunks, Dale. They're going to do total remote learning for like 6 weeks, and then they're going to reassess, because I think what's going to happen is, hey, there's some great news, by the way, on all this. Like all that stuff I was saying, you also have all heard me talk about that there are multiple vaccines in the wings waiting in the different trials in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. There is great hope on the horizon. So not all is doom and gloom. We will get through this. It's just in the short interim, I wish everybody would get along and we could make this a little bit easier, but the vaccine will be coming out. So the schools are doing these smaller chunks, because I think what's going to happen is they'll continue to reevaluate. And then maybe in the winter, as the vaccine becomes available and maybe available in wide, for public, use, consumption, however you want to say it, adoption, maybe there'll be a reevaluation and go to a hybrid model. Who knows? Cross your fingers. Maybe by the end of the year. It's really going to be interesting to see what it looks like on the other side of the fence once a vaccine does come out, or an antiviral. Let's see here. A couple other comments. A lot of children are becoming infected now, and that's what they don't want. The problem is children aren't necessarily always the most susceptible group, but they could be excellent carriers of it. I think about all these people too that throw caution to the wind. I'm like, don't you have like a mom or a grandma or an aunt or a neighbor? And again, not everybody has to be elderly, or a buddy that, is diabetic, or on and on and on. Like, is every single person that you hang around like in perfect shape and totally immune, which is impossible. So anyway, maybe we'll look back at this live stream and be like, wow, Mr. Mountain Man, he was cranky. Well, it's just frustrating, because I do too also want to get out and do stuff, but I have to balance, with the family and stuff, what I'm able to do. We need more wilderness areas, more wilderness parks. People want that and need that. Yes. And you know what, Mike, again, not to get political, but that type of stuff usually comes in through secondary dollars and government funding. And it's one of the first things to evaporate when budgets get tightened at the state or federal level and such. So Those are tough because a lot of times there does need to be money for that kind of thing. 6 weeks ago or so, one of the articles I was talking about is one budget that did pass, and lots of the parks, including the Blue Ridge Parkway, was getting a huge chunk of money for repairs and for all this type of stuff. I don't know if you heard that day, but I try to keep an eye on that as well. Keeping children relatively safe, it absolutely is a tough job. I had a candidate county commissioner come to the house before COVID campaign. That's one thing I told them our area needs is nature. Very good. That's a great way to do it, by the way. That's when you get them when they come door to door and they're like, please let me have your vote. What do you want? And I'm like, well, here's what you can do for the community. Chad, great to have you here tonight. Hello to you. Enjoyed the last video. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I appreciate the feedback, the comment you left. And thank you so much, and glad to have you here tonight. I hope you're having a good start to your week, even though it's Monday, right? Monday, fun day. Let's see. I just want to do my part, be safe, not pass anything out that I've been around. Right. A+, Loggy Doggy. I mean, if we all had that mentality, I mean, that's really cool. I mean, that's a very unselfish, by the way, very like, I don't want to hurt somebody else. It's the pandemic count. Yes. Jennifer Rathbone. Thank you. I was okay. Yeah. So a lot of the counties, right? Like if you watch WLOS at night, assuming you all are from the area, or maybe you told me and I forgot, so I apologize. But yeah, they give a count on the map. Of course, you can get that online as well. Kelly Arico said, hi, Mr. Mountain, great video on Little Switzerland. Thank you. I appreciate that, and welcome to the live stream tonight. I hope you're having a great start to your week and a nice Monday. The fox pen here was sold August 1st. It was bought by one person, will be kept as a preserve. Oh, nice. That's good. Sorry, I had to make a Stevie salad. I am back. I'm back. Okay, cool. Yeah, you missed Mr. Mountain Man talking about the Mr. Mountain Man live stream here. I'm talking about my irritation of public health and safety. So you missed me on the soapbox, Chris, talking about it. I just want everybody to be safe and healthy. That's all. I would hate to hear that anybody got sick of any sorts. And so we're just, it's just been tough. It's been a tough mix of people that are respecting others and trying to keep others safe, and others that are turning a blind eye and pretending like nothing's happening. So yeah, anyway, I was glad Hike with Mike, no new houses being left in the natural. Cool. Your comment sounds like you're a good guy, Loggy Doggy. Good, Loggy Doggy is a good guy. Everybody here is a good guy. And actually, you know what? There are probably people here that disagree with me, and that's 100% okay. One, you can mention it here if you disagree with me. And two, it's just, this is my opinion. And since I'm going through the news and I'm doing a live stream, but we'll get through it. And hopefully, in another 6 or 7 months, as I continue to do the news, there'll be more and more positive news. The teachers are really nervous about going back. Yeah. And, because every place is different. Our teachers are going to be in the classrooms, but there'll be no students there. They're doing remote virtual learning. I will tell you one thing for anybody who's interested and been asking about the schools. The last 2 months of last year, from my observation, were like quasi snow days. They had a real tough time because there were a lot of people that, it was a complete surprise. A lot of people don't have internet. There are people in the lower income community, that don't have the resources. Even if they hand out a computer, people have to work. There's all kinds of scenarios. It was a very, I don't know another adjective I could use in place, but it was a weak finish to the school year. It wasn't very challenging. They are, from what I can tell, going to tighten the bolts down on that. And they're very organized. They've had a whole summer. It's going to get more challenging and back to, helping the kids learn and get back in there. Let's see. Oh, Chris said, I heard you the whole time I was gone. I just couldn't chat. Oh, okay, cool. Nice. I really try, Kentucky Girl, to treat people like I want to be treated, have fun, and be the best husband, father, grandfather, and friend I can be. That words to live by. I mean, if everybody was like that, the whole world, I'm probably sounding, all, lovey-dovey. But I mean, seriously, that is it. Love thy neighbor, treat everybody with respect, the way you want to be treated. These are all, and it's, it is, this is, the world be a safer place. 10 o'clock, got to run. It was fun talking to everybody tonight. It is fun talking to you too, Kentucky Girl. take care, rest well, and I hope you have a fantastic week. And as always, it's really nice to have you here. Thank you so much. And thumbs up to Loggy Doggy. Yes, thumbs up to you as well. Let's see. I would like to go to Little Switzerland for a few days and visit Emerald Village. Oh, yeah, Emerald Village. It looked like a fun place to visit, maybe find some emeralds. So if you guys, at the end of my video, 2 things, by the way, at the end of the video. One is I did talk about that was a gem mine, like a real one, not the side of the road where you shuffle the sand and dirt and get little rocks. Like they really did mine that area for gems. Tiffany's had a mine there. It's now obsolete, but there are places you can still go to visit that. The other thing is there was a blooper at the end of the Little Switzerland video. It's nothing you have to go back and watch, but I believe Rita was the only one who spotted it out. I was in the ice cream shop and I was backing up as I was filming, and the little kiddie tables had these metal chairs, and I knocked one over and it was so loud, like the whole place. I was kind of embarrassed. There wasn't anybody else in there really except for the girl working, but my kids were like, "Buddy, Dad," so anyway, I put it at the end. Chad asked, where exactly was Little Switzerland located? It is off the Blue Ridge Parkway, probably about 20 to 25 miles southeast or maybe east of Mount Mitchell. So you're talking, I show a map at the beginning of the video, but it is northeast of Asheville, North Carolina. Oh, Kelly saw it too. It was a great blooper. Yeah. Some of the other videos I tried to put bloopers into, the Myrtle Beach one that I did last year had 2 or 3 bloopers in it. I don't mind making fun of myself, especially if I do something funny. But sometimes I cut that stuff out sooner. But yeah, that was pretty funny. I actually did have a couple more stories. This one isn't about the 2 shops, but this came across the wire today. Men's Warehouse owner and Lord & Taylor filed for bankruptcy. Let me tell you something. I have never been near a Lord & Taylor. Lord & Taylor is a high-end department store, $100 polos, stuff like that. But there was something else I was going to bring up as a conversation piece from the article, which is, okay, so from the article, this is from iHeart.com. The number of retailers filing for bankruptcy has grown as Lord & Taylor and Taylor Brands, the parent company of Men's Warehouse, and Joseph A. Banks filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Lord & Taylor, which is one of the oldest department stores in the U.S., said the decision was made due to the unprecedented strain the coronavirus has had on their business. The retailer said they are trying to find a buyer of their stores. Lord & Taylor has 38 department stores, mostly located in the Northeast. The stores have been closed down since March because of the pandemic. The company plans to liquidate sales when they're allowed. The coronavirus pandemic has taken a massive toll on the retail industry, with stores across the country forced to close down. Roughly 40 companies have filed for bankruptcy in 2020, surpassing the total number from all of last year. The list of companies that have filed for bankruptcy this year includes Neiman Marcus, another high-end store, J.Crew, JCPenney, Brooks Brothers, Pier 1, GNC, Ascena Retail Group, which owns Lane Bryant and Ann Taylor. And of course, if you were here the other week, I gave a slew of restaurants that were going into bankruptcy, like Chuck E. Cheese. Sweet Tomatoes closed down permanently, which I was disappointed about. There were other restaurants here in Asheville, like Copper River, and several others. So, it's such a weird dynamic what's happening right now in our economy, because, some might say that a lot of these companies were slowly becoming obsolete even without the pandemic. And this is just maybe the straw that broke the camel's back in a really quick manner for the brick and mortar type department store and some of these weak restaurant chains. And then on the other side of the fence, you have other companies that were posed for the future and now have aggressively taken off with success, whether that be Slack, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, the list goes on and on, tech companies, Google, Facebook, all these different companies. And so it's weird because a lot of these stores are like staples, not Lord & Taylor or Neiman Marcus, but I used to shop at JCPenney's. Sears wasn't mentioned there because Sears has been a dying brand for years, but, and Kmart has almost just about dissolved. Of course, as I mentioned from my other channel, I was originally, I'm a huge Craftsman fan, which was originally sold at Sears. And then they sold it at Kmart when Kmart bought Sears. And so I was, really sad to see, because I did shop at Sears too. I would get lawn and garden. I got Craftsman. I would get shoes. get some kids' clothes, some women's clothes, appliances. I didn't get too much men's clothes, but like almost the whole place. But anyway, it's just a sign of the times. It's just interesting what's happening, like interesting and sad, because I think the purpose of me showing this article was, I think a lot of the places that we know and love that maybe we've had for years and years might end up going out of business if they're in this model that doesn't do well during the pandemic. If they don't have a virtual online presence or a way to continue to make money, it could be an uphill battle. Now, the thing that hopefully some of these companies might be able to hang on until the pandemic is over, but who knows, as the world evolves and has learned through this pandemic to become more of a virtual community. I mean, think about how much you guys are probably shopping at Amazon. Some people have tried grocery delivery or grocery pickup and tried new things and new ways. They're going to get used to it and they're going to say, why do I want to go back to the old way? Not so much for grocery stores. I'm just talking about new ways of doing business. So yeah, we'll see. Loggy Doggy was taken off. Love the chat. A little past my bedtime. Good night, safe. Thank you, mods. Thank you, Loggy Doggy. Good night to you. Love the bloopers. Thank you. Is the Sears store you went to close to Asheville? The Sears hometown store I went to was in a city called Spruce Pine, North Carolina, and that is about 10 minutes from Little Switzerland. So which was like an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half from Asheville. So we have no Sears stores. We had a Kmart that I used to go to in Asheville, and it closed. And I got to the Sears once in the mall before it closed, but it's been a couple of years. But that's like old school. It's weird because like I'm like a new school, like tech modern person, but I have this element to me that's kind of old school. And so I have this mix of stuff. Sears Christmas Wish Book. Anybody remember that? Yep, I do. I remember the Sears catalog, JCPenney catalog, all of that stuff. In fact, recently, the way that I'm finding some of my old Craftsman tools is I have the old Craftsman catalog from like 2007, 2008 that has all the part numbers of all the tools. So if I'm missing one, I can look up the part number on eBay, like a particular socket or a wrench. So yes, I remember all the Sears catalogs. Of course, but my stepfather worked at JCPenney distribution. That's what I remember. Foxy Wolf, when I grew up in Central Ohio, they had a JCPenney. Oh, no, it was an outlet store. But I think they also had a distribution center there in Columbus as well. I always look forward to their catalog. Yes. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody's comment. Oh, here, Foxy Wolf on topic said, the disease is killing people in business. Is so sad. Yeah, it really is. And I hope some make it. You know what's the weird thing about Sears? Like I've not seen the final nail, to the company and the coffin. Like that company and Eddie Lampert, which is a real piece of work. They somehow continue to manage to have a few stores. Online presence is horrible. Like their servers are so bad that when I go to their website, it takes forever to like click on links and search because you can tell that whatever they're running their website on is just archaic, and they just don't have the money to update to go to the cloud or infrastructure or anything like that. So yeah, it is a sad time. It's unfortunate what's happened, and that's why I brought it up. I think that the takeaway from this is also support your local businesses that you enjoy, because maybe they can support themselves a little bit easier. But if there's a local pizza place or sandwich shop or pancake place or steakhouse or whatever, and you have a few dollars and want to treat yourself and go out to eat or get takeout at whatever, consider supporting those places. In fact, our de facto thing to always get pizza seems to be Papa John's because I have the app and it's so easy to use. But I noticed these local Asheville pizzerias and I'm like, I gotta start giving them more business. So yeah, most Sears are privately owned now. Okay, interesting. I don't know every in detail on what's happening with Sears, but when I went to the hometown, you're right. That Sears hometown was privately owned. I'm not sure about the department stores. The last Sears department store I went to was in Greenville, South Carolina. I went there a year ago looking for Craftsman Tools. It was this particular socket I was looking for an impact socket. And they haven't reopened, which is a shame because they had a large selection of tools. But Yeah, I do believe you're right, Foxy Wolf. A couple more stories. Here's one on the lighter side of entertainment. Now, I was not a big Elvis Presley fan, but obviously there's some money to be had somewhere, because this was a funny or interesting story from USA Today. Elvis Presley's famous Sun Sessions guitar sells for $1.2 million at auction to a mystery buyer. From the article, the acoustic guitar that Elvis Presley played on the historic Memphis Sessions that ignited the big bang of rock and roll is sold at auction for more than $1 million. Auction house Gotta Have Rock and Roll said the price set a record for a piece of Elvis memorabilia. Although it fell short of the $2 to $3 million estimate the auction house had touted before the start of the online auction, which began July 22nd and ended Saturday. Before the auction, so it sold for over $1 million. Listen to this. Before the auction, the Elvis guitar was owned by Seattle-based DMX Music's Michael Malone, a noted collector of rock instruments and race cars. Malone bought the guitar at Christie's of London auction in 1993 for $151,000. So from $151,000 30 years ago, roughly, to over $1 million. So that's almost, well, about a 7-8x increase or whatever, if my math in my head is right. Crazy. I mean, doesn't surprise me. I just, people got money still to throw around for some memorabilia. But there you go. You got Elvis, his old guitar going for a little bit over $1 million. Let me see here. Okay. And wrapping up here, we have the 7-day Asheville, Western North Carolina forecast. This evening when I had tagged that, it was still about 70 degrees. But if you look at our weather, it's temperate for this summer, though. I mean, look at that. You got mid 80s and mid 60s for the lows. Rain every day, not looking too good, which is weird because this time of August, we usually start to get a little bit more sun, but you know what? I'm not complaining. We don't need any droughts or anything like that. So hopefully we can send some of that your way down there in Georgia, Foxy Wolf, because you said it was pretty dry from where you are. But yeah, look at that. If you're coming to the mountains or you're in the mountains, rain, 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 a little more rain. And there you have it, folks. That is the news and notes here on the Mr. Mountain Man channel for the week of August 3rd, 2020. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, Elvis bought it himself, says Foxy Wolf. He does. He's still alive. I saw him in Vegas. Chris, did you see him in Vegas? I don't know if Chris is still here, but Elvis is alive, right? He's like 115 now or something like that. So he bought it in a silent auction. Foxy, if you can find that article, you should put it on that as a comment. That's an expensive guitar. During a pandemic, it seems to me the rich get richer. Chris, this is the truth. So what I was talking about earlier with the economy, this is so interesting you brought this up, Chris, because I was talking to my wife about this last night. I don't want to get too complex with you guys, but since Chris made the comment, I'll say this because I did have some thoughts on this. The markets, the stock market and such, are helped being afloat right now by Fed stimulus money. So if you guys, all of us live probably, if you're on this channel, lived through the financial crisis of 2008. And if you look at the documentaries on that, it took a while for the Fed to get the money to, and that was a very different situation, but to basically save the banks and not cause our entire economy to collapse. Well, this time, if you haven't been paying attention, the Fed is injecting just a boatload of money in the markets. And we're also helping people who are out of work with the money and all this. Well, I remember when I was a kid, and I was telling my wife this, I used to ask my parents when I learned what the U.S. Mint was. I said, and by the way, Chris, no, I don't mind it. And actually, I don't mind a little bit of intriguing conversation. I really do enjoy that on my channel. So, but what I was saying is I used to say when I was a kid, I used to ask my parents, I said, well, I learned what the U.S. Mint is. I said, why don't we just print more money? If there's a budget issue or the country needs more money or anybody needs money or just people in general, why don't we just print more? Well, that was a funny thing a kid would say, but their natural thing is inflation. And so what happens is, we don't see it yet, but you wonder with all this money just being kind of injected into the markets and keeping people afloat and loans and all this, what will that do to inflation and, and cost of living and things like that? Because, as things go up, prices go up and, money and all this type of stuff. And I do, and I did mention like the early 80s and some of that rich get richer and poor get poorer time period. This definitely kind of like that picture I painted with the economy, like the stores and the business models that were already susceptible maybe to a modern era being pushed off to the side because of what's happening. This could create one of those scenarios. So yeah, I do agree with you. There's a definite potential during this era of that disparity happening. Now, that solution is way beyond my pay grade. That's just from reading articles and informing myself. There are Harvard economic professors and other people that will make opinions on figuring out how, we'll wrangle out of that one. But very good comment. We've had some rain just about every day for a week. I can hear it outside now. It's just, I was thinking along the same lines, Chris. Yes. Rita, we seem to get one rough storm a day. Yeah. It's been like that for about a week or so. I hope the price of silver goes way up because I have a 10-ounce solid silver bar. Wow, that's cool. I know commodities like gold had been going up recently. I don't pay much attention to silver, but if I think, aren't gold and silver pretty linear in that space? Because typically when people run from the markets and they move into bonds, gold, commodities, stuff like that. So did I tell you guys the story? I worked with a guy once who he didn't believe in like investing in any kind of like banking market or anything like that, or 401k. He had a fanny pack, and I was talking to him at like a coffee maker or a water jug or something one day, and he started telling me how all he had was precious metal bars. And he even had some in his fanny pack, and he pulls one out, whatever metal it was, and it was a bar. And he's like, yeah, I don't trust anybody or anything. I keep all the bars with me, or I bury them in my yard. And I just never heard anything like that before. I was like, oh, wow, man. Okay. He's like, because if, it started going into like conspiracy theories. It was like, oh, if all the markets crash and everything, the only form of currency will be, if you have gold or, whatever. So, yeah. So I don't know. You're maybe, I don't know, but that's pretty cool to have the actual bar itself. That is really cool. Like if you own gold or silver and you actually got the metal itself, that's pretty neat. Yeah. So if it goes way up, you can sell it and make some money. All right, y'all. Well, I'll about wrap it up here in a couple of minutes. Anybody have any parting comments? Again, I really appreciate all the support on the new video for Little Switzerland. I really enjoy the conversation and around the news and notes and everything going on tonight. I've been checking into your all channels as well. As always, I say promote yourself on my channel. It was interesting. I heard an opposing viewpoint on that recently on another YouTuber outside this community. It's on the other side that had mentioned that it's not a good idea to promote yourself on other people's channels because they said it will annoy people. I can't speak. I don't really have a comment on that. In my world, because I'm a small channel, if every single person of the, dozen or so left had a channel, I wouldn't care if everybody put their links up. But maybe that's because I'm a smaller channel. Maybe, a larger channel when people have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, they want to stick on topic, and it's not appropriate to plug oneself. But anyway, I don't have to get too over analytical of that. On my channel, if you guys have a channel, you can say that you have a channel and be happy to shout it out. Somebody has a question here. Chris says, always enjoy your videos when they drop them. Sorry if I don't always let you know. No problem at all. I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I hope they're fun to watch. And if you have any feedback for me, always let me know. And if you don't want to comment on YouTube, you can tell me anytime. I have a question. After I changed my name, I ended up with 2 people subscribing to me, and I don't have a channel. Am I supposed to tell them? So In the YouTube world, there are fake accounts and bots, as you would say. Not every person and account is genuine on YouTube. So, a certain percentage, I think on every person's channel, there are fake accounts that subscribe. Not fake, like fictitious, somebody's trying to build up their subscriber count, but literally like out in the ether, there are people that it's just not real accounts. So I'm wondering, Dale, if those two accounts may or may not be like spam bot type accounts. I wouldn't worry about that too much. But if I completely misunderstood that and wasted 30 seconds of time, and you had two legitimate subscribers, it is a hairy process of name changing. And oh man, I did that a few years ago, and I did all these when I changed my accounts around and linked them and created, what is it called? I forget what the terminology they used. It got messy and things weren't transferring right. So yes, if you actually have like videos and two genuine subscribers, if it's only two people, you might want to tell them like, hey, I made a new account or I switched or something, but hopefully it all gets ironed out. A lot of YouTubers put their links in their descriptions. Don't see an issue. Put others' links in their description. Yeah, don't see an issue. I wouldn't worry about it, AZ Rock. Yeah. Did you change your channel name so people wouldn't know your name? Do you want me to call you AZ Rock or Dale? I will ignore it and think. Yeah. So Chris makes a good point. The only way to really be private in the modern era is just to not be online, which is almost impossible. And then there are many, many iterations of, I guess I should go this way, right? The camera. Many iterations of opening up privacy. So some people don't want to divulge their names. Some people do. Some people don't give a rat's tootie. People have different levels of how they throttle that and stuff. So, I can see, Chris, you said it doesn't matter. You can call Chris Dale or AZ Rock. Chris is right, Off the Grid, which, by the way, there's a really cool channel that I plugged a long time ago. It's called Wild, Wonderful Off the Grid. I think it's what it's called. It's this couple and their kids that built a house off the grid in West Virginia. And their YouTube channel has exploded. I think they have like 600,000 subscribers from like nothing. Anyway, that was pretty good. But Chris is right. I mean, if you want to get off the grid, that's really the only way that people don't know you. But I do believe that there are iterations in between of how much to divulge. Here's the one thing I will tell you on security and privacy. Again, yeah, stay off the internet if you don't want to be known. But the other thing is, once you divulge, explicitly personal information, it's done. You don't have a choice at that point to take it back. But anyway, everybody does what they want to do. And, really everybody's online these days. I mean, there's no such thing. I mean, I remember a few years ago, somebody was like, oh, I don't want to open those grocery store cards, the ones you scan at like the front to get like the extra coupons and stuff, because I don't want Big Brother tracking me and all this stuff. Like, I mean, literally, we put our phone number, email address, name, address on like everything in the world. It's impossible it's really impossible. But again, one of the things on YouTube that's real nice is you can use an alias if you want. You can do the same thing on Instagram. You cannot do that so well on Facebook. So Facebook but you can create like a business account or a media account or something like that. But then you have your personal account and you typically don't use an alias. It's first and last name. AZ Rock says, I was told not to use my real name, and that's why I made up one. It is good advice. And a lot of people use their first name. Like I think, Chris has got his, unless that's an alias. Chris, is that your real name? It's safe for AZ Rock. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like way before YouTube and stuff like that, like even before, like any of you guys knew me, like on Facebook and stuff for years. I almost never, ever post pictures, even on Facebook, of my family or kids or anything like that. It's just, you don't, it's not and I'm not a conspiracy theory or anything like that. It's just, there's weirdos out there and stuff, and you don't know what's on the other side of the fence. So you just, you manage that. But the reality is you've got everybody out there just showing everything. And I'll tell you what, of course it's crossed my mind. I mean, there are a lot of channels out there that, like if you're talking about YouTube, that have a more dynamic nature because of the multi-personality that the families open it up to, like showing their kids and showing their family and all this type stuff. And, but that comes at a cost. And so, tend, not to do that. And also because in this particular instance, this channel is about me. Or Mr. Mountain Man and my hobbies and enjoyment, just like the Eclectic Handyman is on the tool side and stuff like that. Ted and Deborah Harrison said, this chat room is filled with really interesting and smart people. We feel privileged to be in it. No, it's the other way around. I feel humbled that people show up and want to hear this conversation. It's really kind of cool. Easy Rock says, thank you for responding. I appreciate you all. Yeah. And I forgot, what was the answer? It said Dale or AZ Rock. And, I could go with whatever you want. We can use. Foxy Wolf says, I've been careful because working in a prison. Right. I mean, there's other things you have to do. It says, yeah, I don't do Facebook, Instagram, or any of that. Yes. And some people have to do different things. So you just keep it on the download. But look, you can still enjoy the internet. You're here, and enjoying. And so that's what it gives us that opportunity to, to live through something else. Chris says he feels privileged to be in here too. If you want to check out a live stream with a lot more people, check out Chris. He'll be on tomorrow. Chris, you usually get about 100 and some folks, I think, joining you. There are a lot of nice people over there. So check out Chris. Chris usually live streams on Tuesday, I believe, and maybe some ad hoc ones too. I know when you've gone on vacation and stuff, sometimes in the car, you and Mindy will run one too. Foxy says, I learned a lot from you guys. Well, that's one of the things I did enjoy. One of the ways I involved, and I'll wrap up the live stream, I did involve this live stream, my live stream, is with a format to have some fun, but also intriguing and interesting conversations. I like to, talk about some of the things with other like-minded folks, whether it's hobbies or current events related. So I hope you guys are finding it enjoyable as well. And sometimes sometime as the channel grows, we'll continue to hopefully get some more folks that enjoy the format as well and join along with us. Sometimes I'm very blessed for sure. It's not a skill. Well, you're a very kind person, Chris, and people feel that, and because they feel that, they genuinely appreciate being a part of your community as well. And I'm happy to have you here tonight. I'm happy to have all you guys here tonight. And so with that, I'm going to wrap up this live stream. It looks like a few people have gone to bed, and I really appreciate it. I know it's gone late. It is 10:30 here on the East Coast. Thank you for joining me here on this 38th episode of the Mountain Man Monday live stream. We'll continue to do this each and every Monday. I let everybody know through my Twitter page about roughly what time, but it's usually between 8:30 and 9 has been the cadence that I have been having these live streams. I hope all of you have a safe, wonderful, enjoyable week. Enjoy the summer, enjoy the mountains or wherever you are. And we will say good night. Yes, great live stream. Good night. Wonderful and informative. Have a great week. I missed one here. Very enjoyable. Thanks for another great live stream. Good night, everyone. And good night, everyone. Have a great week. You all as well. Take care. And we will see you on the next Mountain Man live stream. Good night, everyone.